You know what we get to do today? Today, we're covering our first backer kit campaign. Hey, I'm Alex Radcliffe from Board Game Co, and this is To Back or Not to Back, where we're going to be going over a whole bunch of the crowdfunding, Kickstarter, backer kit, and GameFound campaigns. We're going to have all three today for the very first time. Don't get too excited. The backer kit one is not yet a board game. That will be coming soon, but for right now, we're still in a board game adjacent. It's dice, that's what I'm saying. It's dice. Although we actually have a lot in the board game adjacent category, but before we dive into that, first and foremost, starting off with a word from our sponsor, GameFound. Speaking of, various alternatives to backer kit and Kickstarter, we have GameFound. GameFound Flick Fleet Xeno Wars is currently a sponsored video of the day, whatnot, sponsored spot of the day. This sponsor spot's taking way too long already. I could restart, but I'm not going to. Flick Fleet Xeno Wars is coming to you at GameFound. This is specifically a standalone and or expansion version to Flick Fleet. Flick Fleet, a game rated an 8.1 on Board Game Geek, a flicking game in space, where you go ahead and move through space and flick stuff. There's a video from Paul Grogan you can check out of how to play. This game currently has a bunch of options as far as how to jump into it. You can spend £45 to get a standalone version of Xeno Wars. You can also go ahead and spend more to get a whole bunch of stuff, or you can spend as little as £27 if you already have the base game and you just want the expansion option. This is a well-loved game, an 8.1 on Board Game Geek by a small number of people. Not a lot of people own this game, but the people who do own it seem to like this flicking, space-themed flicking game, and that's Flick Fleet. From there, going on into our Cult of the Now. Cult of the Now, which is going to be Pipeline, assuming this price is still relevant when you see it. Hopefully it is. If it is, great. If it isn't, then I apologize for teasing. $41, $42 for Pipeline, currently on clearance over on Game Nerds. This is a highly rated game, and actually, I think it's like an 8.2 or 8 point something. It's highly rated over on, Board Game Geek, it's highly rated. It's a Capstone Games game of trying to build the most efficient pipeline. It wasn't actually a game for me, but I do understand exactly why so many people like it. It was a little too tight for me. I like longer story. You can watch my review if you want to find out that, but this is a well-loved, well-rated game that you can check out for $42 for an excellent, highly rated, highly recommended Euro game, or you can go ahead and spend twice that much to get other things on Kickstarter. You could spend twice that much to get other things on Kickstarter and GameFound and backer kit. It's expensive out there. That's Cult of the Now. Cult of the Now, to remind you, as usual, that there are very affordably, cheaply is a bad term, very affordably available, great games, highly rated, highly recommended that you can get your hands on, instead of spending a lot more money to get things that are a year out and may be good and may not be good, and who really knows, and that is our Cult of the Now. From there, we're going to dive into Board Game Adjacent. We have a whole bunch in Board Game Adjacent. Board Game Adjacent is anything from, board games that are almost board games, to mystery rooms, to dice, to content creators, anything that's not straight up a board game, even though the first one, technically speaking, is a board game. For the first one, it's Halves, a ward game for the ruthless. 474 backers, $16,000 raised. This, strictly speaking, is a board game. It's in Board Game Adjacent because it's very much a mass market game, so it's not exactly the same category as what we look at. The reason I'm including it here anyway is because I thought the Kickstarter video was incredibly well done. Especially if you are a Kickstarter creator, take note, it was amusing, it was quick. It didn't actually tell me how to play, but it gave me enough of a hint that I can go ahead to the rest of the page and start looking through it. Halves is a party game, a card-based party game, and yes, that does mean it does come with the obligatory NSFW expansion, which you typically have with these card games, where it's like, oh my gosh, this game is so funny, but it's funnier if we include all these inappropriate words. I mean, maybe it is. Either way, we have Halves. And by the way, I'm not even against NSFW content. I'm not. You want to have Cards Against Humanity? Go for it. That's great. I happen to not appreciate when you take a game and then try to make it better or different by throwing in NSFW content. Not all games need NSFW content. I think they stand on their own when they're there. But either way, this is my own personal pet peeve. You can get what you want or like what you like. But this is a game in which you could have halves on the cards, and the halves determine the type of mechanism. The general idea of it is you have a half and you're trying to, let's say, rhyme with it or have with the meaning associated. In some way, you're trying to have the players guess the half, and that's basically it. You have 30 seconds to guess whatever, using whatever terminology or clues that you have, and you're trying to have opponents not guess your words, so you're trying to be clever or interesting about it as far as how you try to throw them off the trail while they try to guess your word. It looks very much in the party game genre. The main reason I'm including it, like I said already, is first of all, if you're interested, then great, and second of all, is I thought it was a really funny video and worth watching. I thought it was well done. Kind of made me want to like the game more than I actually do once I looked into it more, but that's Halves. From there, we have Batman: The Arkham Asylum Files. 824 backers, $240,000 raised. The game that would be significantly more popular if it wasn't $150 for the base game and $600 for the all-in. Don't get me wrong. many of us here are used to paying that for these types of games, but this is like an alternate mixed reality adventure. This is a mixed reality escape room adventure. If you've ever played any of these escape room kind of games, from anything from as small as an exit or unlock game to one of those, Amazon case files kind of situations, this is that kind of experience, specifically around the Arkham, the Batman theme, as well as being a mixed reality, augmented reality experience. You can watch Chris Ramsey going through the stuff, just showing you he's on their channel, a bunch of YouTube videos you can check out, but it's giving you that mixed, escape room, alternate reality kind of experience at a high price point, a very high price point. I'm not saying it's unfair. I'm not saying that it's slightest. I don't care, fair or not fair. You can decide that. I'm saying it's $150 for a single box, and then going up to $288 for 2 boxes, each one being their own complete standalone experience. We have $432. It hurts for 3 boxes, and then we have $600, $557. I shouldn't round up. This very specific number. Why $557? Why not $549? I would have done $549. I think it just looks better, $549. Either way, $557 for the complete total experience of the Arkham Asylum case files. Is it worth it? Is it not? I don't know. I like the unlock games. I'm sure this gives you more gameplay than the $10 unlock games, but I don't know if I'm paying... No, that's not true. I know I'm not paying $150 for this, but I'm sure there is an audience, is there a crowd, and the question is it going to be good or deliver or all that kind of things? Not like will it deliver, but like will it deliver a worthwhile experience? Give me a second. Got a gunk stuck in my mouth. It's throwing me off my game here as I try to feel what's in my mouth. I got nothing. Either way, but yeah, that's what we have over here, the Arkham Asylum case files. Very much board game adjacent, very expensive, but also maybe it's going to be amazing and it's absolutely going to blow your mind. We'll see. We'll find out. From there we have the Humblewood Tales. Collection of new Humblewood adventures. This is the RPG experience for 5e, lore, monsters, and more for 5th edition. $182,000, 1,800 backers, 32 days to go. This is Humblewood. Humblewood already has a notable following. Bunch of pledge levels are here. You can see over here they had 100 backers at the Alderheart plus Wind Touch combo. Already all gone over there. I believe Cracklow's one of those 100. I believe he might even be the first comment. I think I saw a thing that he was the very first comment. Cracklow, in theory, loves RPGs. I don't, in theory, love RPGs. I, in theory, do not love RPGs, but I've only played it once, so maybe I need to play more RPGs. I have 4 people who are trying to get me to play RPGs. I'm willing to. I just name a time, a place, a people, a situation. Humblewood looks great. I love the mouse kind of genre of, little Redwall style gameplay. I don't know anything about this. I'm just letting you know this exists in case you want it, as well as STLs. If you want those cute little 3D printable miniatures for your Humblewood RPG, you can do that. You could. I don't know why I'm here anymore. Anyways, the RPG. That's what you can go ahead and check out over here. From there, we have Help NRB, Help No Rolls Barred, make an in-person Blood on the Clocktower series. If you're not familiar with No Rolls Barred, it's interesting because they fall into this weird space where they have 97,000 subscribers. They're clearly doing an amazing job. They put out these gameplay videos and everything. They have incredible gameplay production quality, similar to the whole Past 2 AM style you've recently seen with Quacklow, similar to what you've seen from Will Wheaton, tabletop with Will Wheaton, whatever. They do a lot of gameplays. They do other content too, but their gameplays are definitely the most popular content, where they have 50 to 100,000 views on these gameplays. Let's play Cosmic Encounter. Let's play Jenga. Let's play Libertalia. They have a ton of very high quality gameplays worth checking out. But it's also weird because they kind of sit there in this, if you haven't heard of them, which I think many of you probably haven't, while also many of you probably have, they kind of sit adjacent to the typical board game content creation circles, although I'm curious to see how it's going. They're doing an amazing job of bridging the gap in terms of I don't know, being a gateway board game channel. That's why they both have things like, Connect 4 and Monopoly, while also talking about Blood on the Clocktower and Western Legends. So they're doing an amazing job of kind of bridging that gap. Very curious to see how this continues to grow for them, as well as just what they're doing for the board game space. That is all a tangent to the fact that it'd be cool if they crossed 100K soon. That'd be cool. If 2,600 of you want to go ahead and subscribe, that'd be awesome, because, yeah, you can do that. And I actually am subscribed, by the way. I'm just in incognito mode, so yeah, there's that. But anyways, Noel's Bard. Noel's Bard is doing an in-person Blood on the Clocktower series. My own personal opinion of Blood on the Clocktower, notwithstanding. Apologies to all of you who are upset about that. There were a decent amount of you. Either way. This is 1,200 backers, $80,000 raised. They are doing an in-person Noel Rolls Bar gameplay style of Blood on the Clocktower. I believe currently the game plan is to have a minimum of 2 episodes, and if they get all the way up to 130,000, they're going for 6 episodes. There's also a tier at 4 episodes in the middle, and then past that, they'll see. They want to do this. There are people who are interested. There's all these pledge levels, anything from creating scripts to being in these series yourself. So being someone who goes in, films in one of them. There's a whole bunch of options out here, but they are basically trying to do this whole live and in-person. Oh, that's cute. Live and imp person. Because the imps are in the game and the demons killing people and the imps and all that live and in person. That's cute. That's cute. Anyways, they're doing a Blood on the Clocktower series of the social deduction game. It's going to be live and in person because they already have digital gameplays of this, but they don't have any in-person ones. And they plan on doing a whole hosted series and making it very thematic and cool and awesome. And I'll probably watch it. That's as close as I'll get to playing Blood on the Clocktower again. But if you want to go ahead and find out, if you want to jump from 2 episodes to 4 episodes or 6 episodes, you can go ahead and back this, get some rewards, do all that, support them as a channel, as content creators, and all those things. And that is no worlds barred, making an in-person Blood on the Clocktower series. And then lastly, in the board game adjacent category, timestamps down below to skip all this stuff. Probably should have said that at the beginning in case you didn't want any of this. But we have the complete Amun-Re. No, that's not the wrong thing. Publishing Goblins Oracle Dice 2nd Edition. This is coming to you from BackerKit Beta. This is their crowdfunding platform. If this is the first time you've seen this, well, hello here. You can also browse around. There's actually a bunch of stuff. I'll actually, over on Quack & Co., you know, I'm not going to actually do this right now, but over on Quack & Co., this Wednesday's video is actually going to be a little bit of a, I'd say deep dive, but it's like a 9-minute video, so a light surface skim of BackerKit and the campaigns available, including some fun things they have coming up. They have some things I didn't even know were coming up. That is not today's video. Check out Quack & Co. subscription link down below if you want to see that, where I'll go into that this coming Wednesday. Anyways, back to this over here. This is the BackerKit interface. This may be the first time you're seeing it. This may not be. This is what you can kind of start getting used to as far as what they are offering or bringing to the crowdfunding space. $194,000 raised in these dice, 3,000 backers, 5 days left to go. You got our pledge now, we got our follow button. This is not meant to be a full overview. We have our pledge levels. Look at all these pledge levels over here. That's where you can click on that. We have our updates. I mean, they have updates just like other campaigns, all nicely listed over here. I love this feature. I love the ability to just see the updates at a glance over there. It's beautiful. We have the community tab, which I'm not as much of a fan of the way this is handled over here. It's just like little miniature form stuff. Feels like anything would get lost as opposed to the ongoing conversation where, granted, things get lost, but very differently. And then the FAQ covering all that. But back to this over here. This is basically just, you know, dice. You know, if you want the Publishing Goblins Oracle dice, the iconic Oracle dice are from the creators of the Amun-Re is back with the 2nd edition, 21 custom-made dice, 126 Faces of Fate. What features were their dice for a tell? I know nothing about this. It's dice. It doesn't even look like it's that interesting dice, but something about it's compelling enough that we have 3,000 backers and $200,000 raised. So something about these dice are compelling. Whatever those things may be, I hope you find what you're looking for in this board game adjacent, last of the board game adjacent categories. And with that, we're going to go ahead and start us off with the next category. We don't have anything in the way of updates. What we do have is we have one in the cancellations and not funding category. We don't have any cancellations. We just have one in the not funding category, which is Royal Hospital. 313 backers, $16,000 raised. This is currently on track to fund, although as usual, that could result in it canceling and relaunching, or could result in it, you know, actually launching. Coming to you from the creators of Medieval Realms and Wishland, Royal Hospital is a game that is being semi-compared to Ark Nova and Terraform Mars in the gameplay style. Shea from Rattle Runs Through has a full overview, gameplay, and final thoughts and all that you can check out. As far as the actual gameplay, I don't have a firm handle on how it's played, but it has tableau building and stuff and things and all those things. Now, past that, as far as the reason it's not currently funding, I'm guessing it's a combination of price point, as well as the fact that there's a lot of duplicated art, which I think is really hurting them. Lots of the cars, the facilities, clinical trials, research projects, they're looking into getting more art, but as of right now, there's a lot of duplicated art, which I think is not great. It really takes away from the feeling of this being a premium product. Like, speaking for myself, and perhaps only for myself, I'd rather have, you know, lesser upgraded tokens and upgraded coins and stuff that they have in the deluxe version. I'd rather just have more art, personally, but obviously art's expensive. It takes a lot to commission those things, and so, yeah, that's something that they're looking into. We'll see what happens over there, but unfortunately, I feel like it's kind of hindering itself as far as being a premium experience. It also doesn't help that they don't have a ton of information past that as far as the how to play. They have a lot of it buried in the videos and things, which is great, but, you know, you have to go ahead and watch all that. But Royal Hospital, it's doing fine. It probably will fund. The only question is whether we're looking at a cancellation. There's 2 pledge levels over here. There's going to be $40 for the basic game, as well as around, $61 for the deluxe edition, which gives you upgraded tokens and coins, and then, of course, shipping on top of all that, so factor that in. But that's Royal Hospital. Looks like it might be good, but also not totally sold on it just yet. Not saying it's bad, just not sold on it just yet. From there we go into the starting off with the actual campaigns, as usual, sorted by, you know, ending soonest versus ending last. And this should be a shorter video. I'm guessing, like, we have 5 campaigns. That's all we have. We only have 5 campaigns. This is really, like, we have more board game adjacent than we have actual campaigns. And then we have one upcoming thing for next week. But yeah, that's what we have going on over there. Anyways, from there, what do we have? So, starting off the bat with Dice Throne Santa versus Krampus. This is coming to you from Rockstar Games, who I only just realized now, they have a dedicated Kickstarter channel just for Dice Throne, which is pretty cool. I mean, good for Rockstar. They're like, hey, we have all our games, and then we have Dice Throne. Dice Throne is just like, let's just own it, okay? Dice Throne is like the biggest thing we got, so we have Dice Throne. This would be like CGE, if they started like, you know, they're like, we have code names, that's one half of our company, and then we have everything else, which is the other half of the company. I kid you not, by the way. I don't know if you know what it's like, but code names is like their most popular seller to a factor of just insanity, which makes sense. Like, everyone loves code names. It's just an accessible party game. It's available all over the place, every single place. It's just a million variations. Everyone loves it. They have giant boxes, they have small boxes, they have 15 different types, they have all the offshoots and the Harry Potters and the code names and the Disney and all those different things, and then they have like, and here's Lost Ruins of Arnak and our expansion, and I'm like, I love it, and the rest of the world's like, where's more code names? CGE, this is not a sponsored spot or advertisement of every kind, but you're welcome. Anyways, Dice Throne, going back to Dice Throne and Roxy Games, this is going to be Santa vs. Krampus, and yes, it's made $600,000, that's not true, $527,000, 7,649 backers, and like 100,000 of that alone is from people who are just jumping in on the original like content. If you want all the big box sets over here, they have kind of like an all-in set for like $600 for the whole sleigh for absolutely everything. There's 59 people backing that, that's 36K right there. We have the $300 for the gameplay all in, 220,000, 222 backers. That's another like 60K right there. That's insane, the amount that they have lined up as far as just 100K and just people who want all that. And then 3,000 for the gift pack and 3,700 for the Santa vs. Krampus. They just, like, there's a ton of options over here as far as how cheap or accessible you want to go, whether you're adding to your Dice Throne collection or whether you're going all in on this one. As far as what the game is, Dice Throne, in case you missed it, Dice Throne is basically Yahtzee with dueling. Dueling Yahtzee. Let's call it dueling Yahtzee. It is a game in which you are basically rolling dice and then re-rolling dice and re-rolling dice to activate abilities on your characters, abilities that you can upgrade and level up, cards that you can play to tip dice, to adjust dice, to get in the way as you try to manage your CB, your combat CP, your combat points, and your actual cards and the engine, managing your defense, leveling up. It is a fun, simple, accessible game. I do not think it breaks the bank as being the best game ever. Well, in terms of money, it breaks the bank. I do not think it breaks the mold as far as being the best game ever, but I think it is beautiful looking, like absolutely insanely beautiful looking, and I think it just does a solid job of being an accessible, easy to get into game. At some point I should do an unboxing, all this stuff. I have like a ton of Dice Throne content. I need to do a full all unboxing. I'm just waiting for my Marvel Dice Throne at this point, in which I'll just do it all. I have it all. It's a good game. It's good. It's light, but it is a lot of fun. And this is Santa vs. Krampus, bringing you, you know, the pair up and matchup you never know you needed it. You never knew you needed in the Dice Throne universe for as little as $35 for the battle box, as well as the Santa's Workshop Dice Throne Adventures, whatever it is, promo pack, and then $59 in case you want all of that, as well as the card sleeves, the custom card sleeves. That's going to run you an extra $25 for the extra custom card sleeves and the miniatures. If you want both those things, those upgraded premium stuff, which if you have Dice Throne Adventures, you may want those custom painted miniatures, and this is basically what's going on. You can check out the video. Video looks great. You can check out Becca Scott over at Good Time Society has a playthrough. You can check that out if you want to get a feel for the abilities and all those things. Again, it's Dice Throne. It's just more Dice Throne. If you like Dice Throne, here we go. Becca Scott over here, how to play. If you like this stuff, then you already know, and if you don't like this stuff, then you probably shouldn't be getting this game at all. Why would you get this if you don't like this stuff? But you could just get this on your own, or you can get it along with everything else. But this is Dice Throne Santa versus Krampus. As far as should you get it, should you not, short version with this stuff is, especially if you want the extras, the promo packs, or the miniatures, some things that'll be harder to get, then yeah, go ahead and get it on Kickstarter. This is the kind of thing you could get at retail later. I would say if you're interested, it's probably worth just getting on a Kickstarter, but if you're not in a rush and you don't care about the promo pack and all that stuff, then sure, you can wait and hold it out. I kind of want these pre-painted miniatures now, because I have the rest of them, so I should totally get the rest of this, because that would be like, I need to, right? I mean, obviously I need to. Balance kit. What is this over here? I missed this over here. Working close to the team, we identified 3 heroes from Season 2 that need a little bit of love. Ooh, cool. I totally missed this. I apologize. With rule to show that every pledge level back in this campaign has the option to receive this balance kit for free, or you can spend $10 for it separately. That's cool. I totally missed this. A balance kit. Well, that makes it easy. I'm going to go ahead and hit pledge now on that. That's actually much easier. Much more of incentive. I was on the fence as it was, but that makes it much easier. I totally missed that when I'm going through the rest of this. And there we go. The pledge levels in case you want to check it all out, including like the all-in absolutely everything for all the things and the stuff and the things and the stuff. Also, there's metal dice too in case you missed it. There's a Die Hard dice, the little collapsible green tray over here, as well as metal dice for all these things. I'm a little disappointed that we don't have metal dice for the rest, although I'm sure if these sell well enough, I'm sure Roxy will find a way to make sure there are available metal dice for all the rest. I can't possibly justify metal dice for this, can I? Because the problem is it's not just $50. This is the real problem you have to wonder. It's not $50. It's really, if you want metal dice, factor all the characters you have till now, understand that you will have to pay the $25 per character to get them later. I should be responsible. I should be responsible. I should be responsible. Let's go ahead and move on to the next campaign. Moving on to Colossus by Alone Editions, a solo card game. 1,400 backers, $48,000 raised. Colossus coming to you from Yosefari, who makes a bunch of these other games, these solo games, accessible games, Samurai, The Road, all those things. And Colossus is, well, the newest one. Colossus involves you trying to fight a Colossus. You can have a specific pattern of symbols you need to play as you place down your cards, ensuring that you overlap 2 symbols on the next card, trying to place them slowly but surely so you end with the right visible symbols. That's what you're trying to do. It's just a little puzzle game. Think games like Sprawlopolis, think games like, I know the other games, I just don't remember the names. There's a whole bunch of games that have this little overlaying mechanism. I always find them enjoyable and compelling. I haven't played this one, but I assume I would find it enjoyable and compelling just because I like that little mechanism of trying to overlay things in a way that works. I do wonder if this one's going to be challenging enough, although coming from Safari, I think it would. Just that he designs good games that are well rated and well loved, so I imagine this will. Otherwise, on a surface level, it looks a little simplistic, but surface level is all I know over here. But again, I have confidence in him and his games, which is why I'm more compelled by this one. But it comes in at €18 for the base game over here, for the single pledge over here, €35 if you want multiple copies, and that's basically what's going on there. As far as should you back or should you not, this is a Kickstarter exclusive game. Like many of his games, they are hard to get your hands on. If you want this game, your option in the secondhand market or this here. I would say if you're interested, go ahead and back it. His games are well liked and harder to track down after the fact in case you're interested in Colossus by Alone Editions. But then we have the Grand Carnival expansion and reprint. 1,000 backers, $40,000 raised. The Grand Carnival and expansion and reprint is exactly what it sounds like. It is an expansion to the Grand Carnival as well as a reprint with upgraded stuff and art and things in case you want that, and there are ways to get that in your base game. We'll talk about it in a second. The Grand Carnival is a polyomino game that takes the basic. If you've played Baron Park, it's going to have at a high level overview is going to be Baron Park, but high level is the key word there, because you have your polyomino pieces, you have your little park that you're building, but one of the things that does well, or different I should say, not well, I mean well and different, I should say well. One of the things that does well and different is the fact that you are building out your foundations as you go. There's a phase in which you're going to be taking these foundation tiles, putting them into your park as you figure out the spots where you're going to have pathways players, guests can walk through, as well as the paths where you can build out your polyomino pieces. So it's a 2-tiered effect. This is kind of what happens when you cross Baron Park and Paris as far as the foundational aspect of what you're doing, and then the actual building of what you're doing as you grab the polyomino pieces, place them down your park, as you try to build out your park in which your guests are going to be moving every turn slowly through the park, making the way to the big top, trying to get to the golden tickets at the end while collecting tickets and loading up your rides as you go through it. Meanwhile, you have a bunch of separate objectives you're trying to accomplish. They'll give you a bit of an in-game effect that you can utilize, and that's basically what's going on in the Grand Carnival. It manages to be similar yet stand on its own at the same time to very many polyomino games, and it's one worth checking out. I have a play this not that between Baron Park and the Grand Carnival, and yes, while I do like Baron Park more, I think the Grand Carnival is excellent and still is in my collection. I really enjoy this one. As far as what the pledge levels are over here, we have $24 for the expansion alone, or sorry, $18, I apologize, $18 for the expansion alone, the bumper cars expansion, on a estimated retail price of $25. Obviously shipping is a thing as well, which is going to bring that basically up to the point, although we haven't gotten to that part yet. $24 for the first wheel, which gives you the copy of the game as well as an upgrade kit for your existing copy. The upgrade kit, if we can go ahead and scroll down, we haven't even talked about the expansion ads, we'll talk about those shortly, but the first thing it does is enhanced art. They took the art and they made it much more colorful, much greener, so you can see over here, it went from beige with like spots of color to just much more, well, green. So there's lots more green on the tiles in case you wanted that, as well as improved meeple design to make sure they don't snap. I hadn't had that issue with my meeples yet, but apparently that was a potential issue, and so they have that all cleaned up over there. As far as the expansion itself, the expansion adds a bunch of mechanics over here. I don't have a full in-depth overview of the expansions, but as far as the types, but we have more polyomino pieces, larger polyominoes, I know we have that, and then if we scroll down, what do we have? We have enormous attractions, so larger attractions over here. We have clowns, so we have a new thing in the park that you can have clowns to keep your guests entertained. We have collecting peanuts from the food vendors. We have golden tickets over here, because that's better than regular tickets. Then we have double foundations, which lay over your foundations over there, so you have a double spot, and then little mini foundation tiles, which give you a lot more flexibility. These are spots of green and or the foundational aspect to determine to kind of clean up either mistakes or just give you flexibility as far as other things you are otherwise planning around. Then we have the grand finales as well, and then the city campaign. So just a whole ton of things being added in this expansion for $18 plus shipping is being added to this expansion. As far as, and then lastly, pledge levels wise, we have $42 for a copy of the newly upgraded version of the game, and then $60 for all the things, for the new version of the game and the Grand Carnival expansion, bringing you all of that. As far as should you get it, should you not? Well, first of all, obviously the question is, do you even want the game? Do you like polyominoes? Do you want all that? It's a great game. Highly recommend this game. I think it's excellent if you like this genre. As far as should you get the game now or later, well, it's a game that has low availability. In general, getting this game is not that easy, and so I'd say that, strictly speaking, the $18 price point on a $25 MSRP, once you factor in shipping, would make me say, no, hold out to retail. There's no rush. There's no this, there's no that. Honestly, though, the price point is good enough, and the fact that this game is hard enough to get your hands on it. In general, like, it doesn't have wide retail distribution, so I would kind of be inclined to get it on the Kickstarter, especially for the price point. That's if you're interested in just the base game, just the expansion, easily enough. And then obviously there's the upgrade kit as well, which may or may not be readily available. It's the kind of thing you definitely won't see, or likely won't see at retail places, which means you'll have to get on the website anyway. So if you're interested in the upgrade kit, I think it's an easy justification to get this one here. And yeah, even the $60 for everything, if you look at the available prices of this game, this is one that's not easily available to get your hands on, and I think it's not a bad price point. Is it the best price point ever? I don't think so, but it's certainly not a bad price point based on current availability or general availability of this title. Moving on to Amun-Re 20th Anniversary Edition from Alley Cat Games. This is bringing you, well, Amun-Re, the third time round. Amun-Re went through the original edition, which they had for a long time. Then they had the second edition from, I don't even know from where, from TMG. TMG made the second edition. I didn't realize. I'm just looking over my shelf. I can see the TMG logo from here. It's that obvious. TMG is sadly gone now. Sadly gone now. Anyways, Amun-Re, and then now we have the third edition from Alley Cat Games, art by Vincent Trait, the classic Reina Knizia 2003 title that has been around for quite some time and well-liked, a game in which you're going to be building out pyramids and you're bidding for various locations to try to gather the stone and the resources and trying to manage all that as efficiently as possible so that you can ultimately win the game. Plays 2 to 5 players, although 2-player experience was supposedly lacking. Supposedly, this 2-player experience is better, that adds in a 2-player variant or whatnot, but I don't know fully on that part. And 60 to 90 minutes, age 14 plus. You can ignore the age. You can always ignore the age. But this is a new version of Amun-Re. There's going to be two versions of the game. There's going to be the base game over here for €45, and the expanded Kickstarter exclusive version for £59, not euros, I apologize, pounds and euros as far as jumping in on the game. As far as the what's new, actually, let's go ahead and show you the GameFound exclusives, because it's the game over here. So increased player count, 2 to 5 players. Oh, the original game was 3 to 5 players. My bad. The original game was 3 to 5. This moves it down to 2 to 5 players, new art from Vincent Trait, and then a whole bunch of Kickstarter exclusive expansions, which we can take a look at if we head down over here. We have the Statues expansion, which can be 1 Kickstarter exclusive over here, GameFound exclusive. Did I say Kickstarter exclusive? I'm force of habit, and now this backer kit, I'm never going to get it right. Statues expansion. This is giving you 8 statues that each have their own abilities, statues that one player can get control of that will give you different abilities as far as different ways to model the game. We have the Afterlife expansion, which is going to give you another way to gather these Afterlife tiles and get more things as you slowly build out your own personal tomb or whatnot. And then we have the Pharaoh expansion, which is bringing you a bunch of Pharaoh miniatures that you're going to be voting or something. This is the one I didn't really track fully what it's doing, but it's another expansion, all GameFound exclusive, and then the plastic insert as well. So that extra £14, whatever it is bringing you all of that, which means if you're interested in the game, well, honestly, I agree with the breakdown. There's 18 people who pledged the base game, which you shouldn't. If you want the base game, wait till retail anyway, and then 792 people who want the expanded edition of the game. My goal, personally, is how many days do I have left? I have 17 days left. I may or may not be able to table Amun-Re in the next 17 days. I kind of hope I do, because I refuse to let myself back this game. I've had Amun-Re in my collection for way too long. I've had Amun-Re in my collection for, I want to say, 2 years now, and I haven't played it. And so unless I actually play it, I can't justify backing this, but I kind of want to back it, but I'm not going to unless I actually play the game. So we'll see. But Amun-Re does have the auction mechanism that I love from Cyclades. I think Amun-Re came first, so really Cyclades has the auction mechanism I love from Amun-Re, but it's a very solid auction mechanism, and I like auctions in games. I think this is one that I will enjoy, and I think the expansions give you a lot of ways to dive into this in variable ways, at a price point that's not that reasonable, not that unreasonable. Speaking of which, as far as should you back it, in general, I would say Alley Cat Games, in general, their titles, their Kickstarter versions of their titles have done decently at holding their value adjacent-ish. You lose something, but they're not that bad. They're usually what I call decent backs, where you'll lose something, but not that much. As far as this one might be different just because it's coming to you from an established title, 20th anniversary edition of Amun-Re, so I don't know for sure. But I would say if you're interested in the game, for sure do not back the retail edition. For sure get the Kickstarter exclusive version, the GameFound exclusive version of this game. But even then, it's a chance that it does lose something. Once you factor in the £59 plus the shipping over there's a chance that this one sells for a little bit less in the secondhand market. It depends. I think it's more likely to hold its value compared to a traditional Alley Cat Deluxe version of the game, but more likely is certainly not a guarantee. From there, we have Mini Express map expansion expansion 1 and 2, 648 backers, $36,000 raised, 18 days to go. This is giving you 2 map packs to Mini Express. Mini Express, a train and stock game that has 2 actions, and you're basically trying to figure out the most efficient way to manipulate the market and to grow the various, the various train lines and get stocks and shares in the various train lines as you go through the game. Decently rated, not loved, but decently rated. I think it's like a 7.3 or something like that on Board Game Geek, if I'm not mistaken. This came out last year from Kickstarter or whatnot, and this is giving you 2 expansions, like I said already, either $20 a piece for the first expansions or $40 for both of them in a single pack of Modern Island and Express Ticket. Bundle both expansions together. This is expansions. That's all it is. This is expansions for the base game. If you want the base game, you can get that too over here. They actually have it over here as well for $109 for the golden ticket over here, $70 for the full express, giving you options for the retail edition or the Kickstarter version of the original base game. And this is one that if you go to the website, you can try to find it as well. I believe it's currently out of stock. In fact, in general, Mini Express seems to be a game that I couldn't find a lot of availability everywhere, which factors into the whole should you back it, should you not. The short version is I think this is a low availability game. While similarly, the price points I don't think are necessarily amazing. It's just a game that's hard to get your hands on. So if you want it, it's likely that you should go ahead and back it on Kickstarter as opposed to waiting or tracking down the secondhand market, especially for expansion content. If you're interested in the base game alone, I do recommend checking out reviews. I mean, if you're interested in the expansions, if you already like the base game, by all means get this on Kickstarter. If you're interested in the base game as well, then check out reviews. There are reviews that are critical of the game. There's enough feedback that says there's enough feedback in the game that I don't know if this is a must-back necessarily. It's one that you should look into and see if it compels you enough before jumping in on it. But if you do want it, the Kickstarter is not the worst price point considering the low availability. This is another one that, like Amun-Re, I have a copy and really hope I can get it played in the next 2 weeks because I'd love to back the maps if I like it enough, but I need to play it first, so we'll see. But anyways, that's Mini Express map expansion 1 and 2. And then that's I said anyways as if there's more. That's it. That's the entire video. This is a short video like I told you already. The last thing I have coming is going to be, first of all, Burncycle. Burncycle is coming next week. Something like that. It's coming soon. Soonish. When's it launching? It's launching soon. I don't know exactly when, but this is Burncycle coming over on GameFound. It's going to be giving you more Burncycle content, reprints and all that. I assume they'll have the brass mags, which are delightful and amazing, and I highly recommend them, as well as the Ebwall expansion, the Renegade expansion, and the Robophobia expansion, as well as a free equipment pack if you go ahead and follow and pledge. So if you are interested in this game, I do recommend following. There's 3,157 people currently following, and I recommend you join that in case you are interested in the game remotely. Fun fact, tomorrow I'll have a Automaton of Shale unboxing situation going up. If you want to check that out, it looks very cool. Check that out tomorrow on tomorrow's videos. But the chip theory games are just insane. They're just insane anyways. But Burncycle, highly recommend this game. I think it's excellent. We have Play the Game covering it. We have the new recruits going through all this over here. There's some coverage on Quack and Cody to check out. I have a review going. I have a review that went up. I have a solo gameplay. No, I don't have solo gameplay. Solo gameplay is on Patreon only. I have that. There's plenty of other solo gameplays. You can check that out. Or you can become a patron. Why not? While we're here, let's go ahead and remind you that I do have a patron, and I put up like 2 or 3 videos a week that are Patreon exclusive. You can check those out. This is not intended to be a Patreon push. Just worked out that way. I'm not complaining. As far as picks of the week, because we do picks of the week. Picks of the week, I generally do 2 things. I do a value pick, a best value game, as well as a personal interest pick. Personal interest pick is kind of, I'm trying to think how to break this up. Let's go ahead and let's go through this. I'm going to use the Grand Carnival expansion and reprint as my personal interest pick of the week. This is the one I do want to get the hands on the expansion. From the first time I played the Grand Carnival, I really enjoyed it, but I did say I wanted an expansion, and they're giving me one, so I'm going to go ahead and be getting this one. The Grand Carnival, the expansion and reprint is my personal interest pick of the week as far as this week goes. And as far as value pick, honestly, there's nothing that is stellar, and there's nothing that's that bad. Almost every campaign we cover today, from the 5 we covered or whatever it is, from Mini Express to Amun-Re 20th Century Edition to the Grand Carnival to Colossus to Dice Throne, I don't think there is a strong value pick that I'm comfortable picking. I might reluctantly pick Dice Throne as the value pick, but honestly that's kind of leaning into the popularity. I think all 5 of these campaigns fall into that mid-zone where if you're interested in the game, go ahead and get it, but nothing's blowing me away as far as great value picks. Nothing's blowing me away as far as values to stay away from. I think all of these are reasonable backs if you want them, and reasonable walking away froms if you don't want them. I don't think they drift heavily in either direction this week, so let's go with no value pick this week, but Dice Stone's being the closest. People will try to track down, there'll be low availability, and then people will buy your value. Like, Dice Stone's going to be the one that I pick as value most closely, or don't pick, but almost reference as picking, which basically means picking at this point, primarily because of the in-between print runs aspect. There's enough demand in this one that I guarantee you people will be able to sell some of their pledges for more than they paid for them, just because of the in-between print run aspect of things. Not because of long-term availability, but just because of that. And with that, we're going to go ahead and call this one. Until next time, I'm Alex Radcliffe from Board Game Co. Thank you for sticking with me through a fairly really short 2-back or not to back. I'm not really complaining. I don't mind short ones. It's just not that common, not that usual. And with that, and until next time, I hope you have a good one. Did you hear about the guy who evaporated? He'll be missed.